This meeting is being recorded. Welcome, folks. It is 23rd of October at 1:04 p.m. Hello.
No dice on the clock, but
That is
are
okay.
you guys set up okay here?
We are all set up as far as I can tell.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
You're on any issues. I'm down the hall. We're close to where Becky sits.
Yeah.
So, maybe that's fine.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Hardworking GPS staff at it again. So anyway, I'm gonna call us to order. This is a ad hoc superintendent search screening subcommittee meeting. I'm Stacy Sexton. I'm chairing these meetings. I am here. Member Childs, are you here?
I am here.
Member Disorder, are you here?
I am, yes.
Thank you. Excellent. We're all here. We are roll called and called to order. Next item on our agenda is public comment, but there are no members of the public present in person, and I do not see any members of the public present on Zoom. Just open up. Yep, it's just us and Ann. And so again, as per usual, if anyone shows up in the meantime, happy to hear from them. But in the meantime, in the interest of moving along, I suggest we move to item agenda 3. And I would also again entertain a motion to waive Robert's rules for the time.
I move to suspend Robert's rules.
Second.
Thank you. Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. We have officially suspended Robert's rules so that we can just have some open discussion about these things. So a lot of these items are really just updates and seeing where we're at on different elements of this search process. First is probably maybe the most time sensitive and pressing is discussing the status of our community needs assessment, planning, and outreach. Folks, I think you all had a chance to see the draft schedule that I sent out. I will explain, just for the benefit of folks hearing my rationale, of having community focus groups on the same day as the election. One, it is my goal to drive more people to the polls if possible. And if we can have multiple things pulling people toward the Greenfield High School, it is my hope that people who may not have made it out to vote otherwise will. Second, for those who were planning to come vote anyway, what a better use of their time being out and about than to hear a little bit more from them, not about why they voted the way they voted. I don't really care about that, but about the issues that brought them out in the first place. These are the kinds of things that we would want a future leader to need. I have been working with Roland and the other admin support staff for the district to see what we can do about getting childcare and also about food. I've inquired both about the cost for a pizza sort of thing, but also inquired about the cost for our food truck, which our parents and families are already very familiar with and love it and appreciate. And kind of want to make it, for that period of time, they're scheduled back to back. So it would be from a period of from 4 to 7:30 or so, where there could be a little bit more of a come hang out atmosphere and also talk about the issues that matter. So I just wanted to explain a little bit more of that rationale and hear from you folks about that. I will share that the admin has started booking the spaces. That's, for our purposes, if we really need to change something, we can still do that. I don't want to say that booking rooms is setting things in, completely irrevocable stone. It's not the same as chiseling into marble. And the more that we're able to get these pieces firmly in place and be okay with that and just say, this is our plan. And now the next step is to make sure as many people as possible are in attendance, I think is for me where I'm seeing the next bit of brain power that we should use. But I'm putting that out there. I'm explaining to you why I am putting forward that as a draft schedule. Would be happy to hear from folks.
My biggest question is the high school library meeting space. Is it physically far enough away from the voting that we won't run afoul of electioneering if someone does happen to talk about the election?
It is on a completely separate floor and wing of the high school. So in order to enter the voting place, you have to go around to the side, and it's the auditorium entrance to get to the library most effectively, you come from the other entrance that's got the, the mural on the sidewalk and you have to pass by the school office. I think that that is, like, we obviously can't control where people enter a building into, but I think that there is sufficient distance that your conversation, especially with the closed door of the library, should not interfere with people's deliberations. I don't think they should even hear us.
Okay.
So I actually just wrote to you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ian. Ian, would you have
Oh.
further things to?
Nope, that was my big one.
So I actually just wrote before this.
Yes.
I don't think that that's a good idea.
Okay.
Um, um, because it's election day, and I just wrote in a sentence, well, I'll explain that because I didn't think I could type it into words why I thought it wasn't the right thing. It's from everything I was learning about elections. Like, as you stated, it's my goal for this would be to drive people, to get more people to the polls. I think it's always a wonderful something to get more people to the polls, but it's kind of, they're supposed to be, things are supposed to be totally separate. When you talk about electioneering, that people will be discussing it, darn well, I'm looking at Ian nodding her head. You know darn well that will be happening in that space 150 feet from whatever it is, whether it's upstairs or downstairs. It doesn't feel right. There's just something in it. I looked at it and I said, it does not feel right inside, so I'm a no. For all the things of everything about elections that I learned, I think we would be using one thing to get more people to be there. And it is always good to get more people to the polls. The more people that go for anything, it's great. We'll be lucky to get 20% for this. And it's really good to have a lot of people interested in the new superintendent search in and of itself. And I just looked at this and I'm like total full disclosure. I'm always behind the eight ball being the mayor and I'm trying. But I did look at this just before and it struck me in my heart as not the right thing. And that's where I am.
Okay.
Well, the mayor does
Can I
raise a
ask
good point about, will we be even getting clean feedback if it's election day, or will emotions be heightened and will we be introducing a needlessly political element to it?
So I think we can dig into this question. First, I wanted to ask a clarifier. Is it the date that is troubling you or the location that is troubling you? More, they both can be troubling to you, but I'm curious, is there
Oh,
one
at the
that's more
high
than the
school on
other?
election day does not,
If,
and
if, for
I'm just the way I
instance-
am,
No,
okay? It's
yeah.
this thing in my heart. It feels like when what you said for the driver and an intention is whatever you said, like, I would love to get as many people to the polls. We don't, I would too. I would like to get as many people to the polls. The things should be separate. Elections shouldn't have anything to do with superintendent search. There will be discussions about this. One thing will overlap into the other. So yes, if that were at another location on 11/4, I wouldn't care.
But it's specifically at being at the high school where the other things are happening.
Absolutely.
Okay.
If you said if you said oh, on 11/4, and I would say, and if it were on a different place on 11/4, I'd say you'd be detracting from elections. So I do not think that election day is a good choice for this. And I just want you guys to know, I admire you both. And if this is, 2 out of 3, we vote this way, I'm into voting.
Yeah.
I grew up in America. It's the will of the group. I feel that we should be choosing a different day. But if the 2 of us decide, I mean, if 2 out of the 3 of you vote for election day, I would go like a different site. A different site indeed.
Okay. I can respect that point of view. certainly the desire for them not to interfere with each other necessarily. I am curious about this notion and that you raised of the idea of clean data. And I think I'm not sure that we would be able to get quote unquote clean data about this topic unless we postponed collecting any information at all. Um, gosh, maybe even until after budget season is done. You know what I mean? Like until next June.
Well,
And
it,
we do not have that luxury.
yeah, that, I guess it's not so much perfectly clean versus completely filthy data, so much as, like, I mean, we all know that right before an election, everyone gets really hyped up, really ramped up. Online, you have a lot of explosive rhetoric, metaphorically explosive, of course. And then immediately after the election, a good chunk of that just simmers down and away, and things that people cared so much about, they just are chill on. And we're, I don't know, I'm not talking for like a sterile, clean room free of contamination kind of thing,
Mhm.
but at the same time, I don't know.
Mhm. But I hear you sort of raising the question or
Well, I guess
worrying
it's,
the fear about, go
would
ahead.
the turnout of the loudest political voices in town push away other people and shout over them more on election day than they would on other days?
Well, that we can't know in the absence of it having occurred. Like we are sort of arguing against a
Hypothetical.
hypothetical. My wondering is if we do the outreach correctly or to the best of our ability, whether it's correct or not, the best we can do is the best we can do. But to make sure that there are more than one, just the like most the people that we often will see at different public comment gathering venues. I think that part of our due diligence is to get more than just those folks in the room. Um, and if we can't do that, I think that it doesn't really matter which day that we are likely to hold it. We are likely to get the loudest political voices on any day, being the ones who take the or are able to make and take the time to come participate. Um, I am sort of I'm hearing and I'm wanting to respect the will of the group here that this is just not, y'all are really just not into having the parents and the community members or having any focus groups at all on the actual election day. Fine. Um, Given the constraints that we've noted in our earlier conversation last week, talking about this, um, I am open to changing that date or changing the location.
I really agree with what the mayor said about changing the location being a bad plan because it would pull away from the election. Um, like, I'm not
Maybe.
dead set against it. I just would need to be persuaded into the meeting at that day because I have some reservations. Meeting that day, that time, location.
Mhm. I don't know if it is worth the time to sit here and persuade you why I think it would be a good idea actually to do more of a one-stop shop rather than creating additional time burdens on our families, where they can like come and give their voice at the ballot box and also give their voice with sentences at a focus group. I don't think it's worth it me explaining that rather than us just nailing down a different day so that we can get the communication changed immediately. Because that's our biggest challenge right now. Um,
Well, okay, so how about we look and see what the alternative is, and if there's a good alternative, we're good, and if there's not a good alternative, then revisit election day?
sure. Um, If you look in the focus group invite text,
Mhm.
do you have access to find that document, Anne?
Mhm.
Mhm.
I've got this proposed little table of faculty focus groups Monday the 3rd. These proposed, which we may be moving, an admin focus group and a student focus group on the 5th with the late bus timing, and then our superintendent search committee meeting on Thursday, November 6th. Other dates that we had talked about in the
So you've got, go on Monday, how many out of the 5 do we have? You've got faculty on the,
faculty. So there's one here, 2 on Wednesday the 5th, and I was proposing 2 on Tuesday the 4th. So we'd have to find 2 different times that could work.
also put
Which
them to
is-
Tuesday, put them on the 5th. See if we can put those people on the 5th, the parents and the community. Or I think it'd be. I
Okay,
think, that'd be, I mean,
Yes. I'm looking now at our GPS community needs assessment running notes document where I was also putting together a table given the constraints that Roland and crew had sent to me. Wednesday, let's see, that's the 22nd. Wednesday the 5th. We can't do faculty, which we're not proposing anyway. There is that unified co-ed basketball from 3:30 to 5:30, which is why we weren't sold on having parents there. We could probably do the general community group that time and see if maybe we can move the parent focus group
the Monday.
to Monday
Mhm.
and just do a split of the 3rd and the
Unified
5th.
co-ed basketball.
That's going to be a lot of our special education parents. We really want to make sure they've got,
Oh, yeah, okay.
um,
And that's 3:35, okay.
so
Sorry,
and
forget to shut the phone off.
it's you're a busy woman there. You know, we know you've got other things.
Yeah, I'm worried about, Ian and I, we're worrying about the same thing here. You and I have made the same calls on the food stamps, Ian, good call.
Yeah,
Yeah, snapped, I'm just uppermost in my mind, so there you go.
yep, that's
Mm.
we're gonna have to
Onward,
onward.
on with this, we'll
Onward with
get to
this,
the
yes.
others after. Yep. Um, so. Yeah. Oh, I'm a pro, because to our watching audience, the mayor's gonna go over and turn the lights on with a quick wave.
Yes.
Chair Stacy does
Chair
Chair
Alright.
Stacy's things.
So what I'm hearing then is moving parents to let there be light to like a 3:30. That'll probably last till 4:30 from like a 5 to a 6:30 then.
Yeah.
On Monday the 3rd, and then moving community to Wednesday, November 5th. Probably then again at like a 5 to 6:30.
Mhm.
I would want to
My
push back a little bit later just to make time for commutes.
That's good.
Okay, so like a 5:30 to 7
Mhm.
or
5:30 or
6 to
6?
6 to 7:30.
Just NB, could I just, at least 6 for, that's what I have heard.
Okay.
I'm no longer a young working parent. But that is what I have heard.
Well, you
At
don't want
least-
to have people drive home, not have any time to eat, then show up hangry.
Right. Well, and the idea, I'm still interested in seeing what we can do about providing some food. It probably won't be the same as a full meal that they might want, but at least some pizza to snack on. So given this, I don't know, I don't know how successful we're going to be about recruiting our young people to do some childcare for us for free to begin with. I'm really uncertain about whether we will get those children for 2 different days to support us. And so I would rather have the childcare definitely available for the parents and
Okay.
maybe available to the general community.
Yes.
Um,
Okay.
but I will continue to do what I can do to see if we can get some semblance of childcare and food available for both of these
And who,
on separate days.
oh, excuse me, no, yes, sorry, pardon me. Who are we gonna ask to help us with the childcare?
We are asking the National Honor Society, Key Club, and Student Council.
That's fair.
Yes, because these are organizations, these are student service clubs that get certain hours and we can count as part of their hours. The big trick about it is just which of these people, which of these youth are already available and which don't have like a club that they need to rush off to or an after school job. So they don't have that, but there's just availability. So I will make those adjustments ASAP to our schedule. Now, I'm gonna write it out here so that we're very, very clear.
Thank you for all the work you're doing on this,
Of
Stacy.
course. Yes. 30.
And Ian, I said this to Stacy as well. I want to do my part here. If you're not hearing back from me on anything that you really need, give me a buzz and shoot me a text. I am trying my best to be responsive to everybody.
Well, and we know you've got a big workload, so we can all give each other grace.
Okay. So just looking then at this schedule on Monday, November 3rd, we will have faculty focus groups after school. Likely one group for middle school and high school and another group for the elementary educators, just to account for their staggered end times. And then in the evening, a parent focus group from 6 to 7:30, trying to have food and childcare. On the 4th, we'll all go and we'll do our due diligence at the polls. On Wednesday, the 5th, the administrative staff will be handling the scheduling of their own focus group sometime during the day. We will be aiming to get the students after school and later on in the evening wanting a community focus group from 6 to 7:30. Does this look okay to folks? Because
Looks okay to me.
Great.
It does. Now, is that gonna, the way,
No,
is that gonna
we're,
look like mine right now? Because this is all shared. It's like a little shared Google thing. for my
yes, this
phone.
is a
So
shared Google
It's
Doc.
gonna look exactly the same on mine. 'Cause I was gonna
It
go tell
should.
Jonathan.
It should.
That's great. I love this.
So which brings us, now that we've got that set, great. I will update all of the dates and times in our invite text that we've got. Our next task then is our outreach blitz to get the word out about this as soon as humanly possible. I would love for us to each basically take on the outreach for one or more of these focus groups. So if you say, I volunteer to do the outreach for the parent focus groups, that is like, if you know you've got connections to the PTOs, the school councils, the any group, the CPACs, the LPACs, that you are the one, you're gonna do that outreach and get us a list of like, did you get them the information? Did anyone reply back to you? Like, can we get some preliminary numbers of how many people we're expecting? Similarly, if you're doing the general community focus group outreach, which is honestly where I'm seeing you shine, you being a shining star, I think that
Good, because I was thinking none of those first ones sounded familiar. Yeah, okay.
But I'm seeing, like, for instance, making sure that all of our boards, commissions, and councils get a version of this invitation.
Okay.
The Greenfield Business Association, the Chamber of Commerce, any of these kind of places where we know folks who are involved in some element of our community, but may or may not be involved in schools per se,
Absolutely.
where we can reach them. And that's where I think the office of the
Okay.
mayor has a lot of connections to leverage that.
Very good.
And also to do, the general press release stuff that you were mentioning last
Right.
week.
And we will be sure to do this, and anything else you ask of me, I'll be sure to do.
Yeah, that's great.
Other than other than typing something back right away.
That's
But we'll put out when they all are. We can put out, we'll notify, we'll put on the webpage when they all are, if you'd like me to, because I would think that would be a good thing to do, wouldn't it?
yes, it definitely is a good thing to do. We'll want to format it slightly differently
Okay,
because
fine.
this is like us and our chicken scratch notes, and we'll get something that's a little clearer to read
Okay.
for the
Would
community.
you like to coordinate, would you want to talk to Jonathan?
I would be happy to talk to
Okay.
Jonathan about doing that.
You guys know about formatting and all that, which the mayor does not,
That's great. That's
but
okay.
he's a whiz at that.
That's why I say mayors don't have to be experts in everything.
They
They just
don't.
have to hire
They
the
don't.
people who are.
I'd say all the time, I'm not Albert, I'm not Albert.
Okay.
Hell. There's so many people that know so much.
Okay, so I also think that in terms of doing outreach to admin, faculty and staff and students, like that is really kind of on the district to
Right.
do. I think we can organically reach out to the union, but we don't have a lot of direct connection with students per se. And so that is kind of incumbent on Roland and them to
What
really handle.
we
So
might want to do is design a flyer for the high school to put up at all of the places where they put up their little posters advertising clubs and events.
absolutely. Are you volunteering for that?
I can do it.
Yay, thank you.
Give me the direct
And then
information you want on it, and I can generate some designs.
great. In general, date, time, location, and a little blurb about what it is, which
Hmm.
the little blurbs should be in the invite text document that we have. I
Yeah.
added a little for students.
And Ian, if after you make up that flyer, if you need a hand putting them places, I'll share the places with you, getting them around, okay?
Okay.
The places they need to go up, is that?
Yeah, and we're
Right.
gonna have to have different versions of the ones that we
Mhm.
go up to. And you could be designing a flyer design for the high school
Well,
students,
right,
but we're also gonna need a different one that
like
has
for the seniors, like we'll put things
right.
at the senior center and.
Yeah, and that can be the
we'll
community
do those.
outreach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
can worry about those, but
Okay,
yeah,
when
if
do
you
you
guys
want the flyers by?
immediately,
Yeah,
yesterday.
Immediately. By yesterday. Okay.
so we'll kind of do our thing then on the city side and is that okay? And I'll hand them out to like cities things, like, is that what you?
I think that we can be like, the sooner that you can get us this draft of a flyer as a template, then we can just change in and out the date and time and the
Okay.
community versus student versus
All right.
parent versus whatever. And we can generate options and then we can, yes, you're welcome
Okay.
to get that out. But I think they should
Well,
look a little standard.
So and we'll put, oh, very good, that's what they all say in people that are doing like advertising.
Have
Jonathan
a
says that.
brand.
A branding, that's what they call it. It's so funny, there's so much to know. Branding is very important, but we'd put it out, I'll put it out the library. The city would put out the library, the senior center.
Yeah, yeah, any sort of like city
Municipal.
yeah,
Okay.
that
Okay.
would be
Just so Ian, you're not doing too much,
That
too
would be
much.
Well,
so,
I
so
figure what I can do is the basic information can be, I don't need to go into the specs of how I'm making it. I'll make it in such a way that there are text boxes where like the time, date, place, and people it's for, it's editable.
perfect. And I think obviously if you're using color at all, Greenfield green
Of course.
is the gist of it. Um, great.
Good
If
job.
you can do those flyers, Anne, I would be happy to actually take on the emailing of the CPAC, the LPAC, the PTOs, and like reaching out to those connections. So
Sure.
that feels like a relatively equal distribution of labor.
And
Is that workable for you? I know that I was being a little glib when I said as soon as humanly possible or yesterday,
oh
but
no, I get it.
when do you think you can actually, when is reasonable for you to be able to?
Looking at other deadlines, if not tonight, then tomorrow night.
Okay.
The
Thank you
last
very
thing
much.
I'd say that I really think we should put on the flyer is I think we should have a shortened link to whatever the link for, because there's the mention of filling out feedback online so that people
There's the
yeah.
Survey Monkey.
I mean, there's always the QR code thing, but
I don't know. That's becoming one of those things where you wouldn't let friends scan a random QR code, would you?
Yeah, so yeah,
Like
because
plugging in a random USB.
so I would highly recommend instead of using the SurveyMonkey link that we do a link shortener so that it's a little bit less typoable than 8ZF7ZFF.
So get a bit.ly somewhere.
Yeah, a bit.ly basically.
Okay.
And this is why I'm glad that there are two of you and one of me. I think we all bring something different to the table. I
Absolutely.
trust you guys.
Yeah, this team was selected for a reason.
I know.
We're not just random up in here.
No, we're not just.
Well, I'm random, but
You're a little random, but in a
That
great
is
way.
so funny. I thought I had no knowledge of any of that. So thank you both.
Great. Yeah, it's how we can get something cool like, you know, you have your link backslash, you know, Greenfield Community Survey 2025 instead of the 8x720 PQ. Anyway,
well, also, yeah, we do have the 7 and the Z's, which can be messy with handwriting if someone is writing it quickly.
yes, it can. All right, great. The other important bits of information, which is kind of like, I feel like we're playing a little bit of a chicken game between being able to advertise that there might be childcare or food and not really having it firmed yet. So,
What I
let's just,
say is we don't put that on the flyer. What we do instead is tell the PTOs and the school and parent Facebook groups once it is confirmed.
okay,
Oh, that's a good idea.
that is a good idea. So we can at least get a save the date out.
Mhm.
That's perfect. Great. So Anne's on the flyers. Stacy will do parents, mayor, and your office will be doing all like city and community and
Mhm.
municipal outreach. And I think that that is what we can do, and we'll just
Mhm.
the outcomes of that will be the outcomes of that, and we'll
Yeah.
have to live with it. The next set of items.
I'm just going over to this folder, yeah, make sure.
That's great,
Find
yeah.
it.
All right, do we feel complete with the community needs assessment, planning and outreach? I think the survey is going to be part of that, so I don't know if we need to talk about it separately. I will just say that I floated an email to Roland and folks asking about how, if at all, we are able to accommodate the members of our community for whom English is not their working language. Just make sure if we could get translations available. But frankly, I don't know what capacity exists on the NESDEC side for even working with languages other than English. So this is my wondering and my question to you all. How do we ensure that this is an equitable process and at the same time not generate information that we don't have the capacity to do something with? Because that's just frustrating for everybody.
Um, we have a good sized Moldovan population.
Yeah, I would say from my understanding, and this obviously
Mhm.
shifts a lot, but we've got good Russian and Moldovan, French or Haitian Creole, and Spanish might be our top three
Mhm.
languages other than English. There could be, I don't know, Arabic or Farsi or some other that's probably up there as well. I know that, you know, the SMORE parent newsletter mechanism does automatic translation for their newsletter items. I don't know if it's sophisticated enough for a survey. I don't know that SurveyMonkey has those kinds of tools. And again, I don't know who we have who would read through that information and make sense of it enough. So I'm just like putting that on the table of as part of our long-term desires to get feedback and information from our community. What can that look like when we want to really make sure that everybody is included in that process in a meaningful way? We might not have the answer, us three, right now.
I don't know
Um,
that.
But it is something that I think we should talk about as a community of just, moving forward. Doesn't have to be right now, but I'm putting it out into the ether so that it can be part of how we think about community participation moving forward. Okay. Any more on the community needs assessment planning or outreach?
Well, who will we ask about that?
I asked Roland
Right,
because
that's what I
this,
would have
because
said.
the district has a responsibility to get language information out in languages that are accessible to the parents. I have not heard back yet, so I don't know
Mhm.
if he's running into a wall there. I know that we likely don't have the resources available to do a fully bilingual or even like fully like a focus group in a language other than English. Like, I just don't think we've got the resources for that, either the human resources or the money resources it would take to pay that person. So I don't know, kind of leaves us in a weird spot. Um, but that being said, at the very least, I'll say with all these big windows, when the lights go off, it's not a huge difference.
That's true. I'm going back over to wave at the lights again.
Yes.
The kids that were watching. Getting better
Yeah, it feels like we found the sweet spot of where
Right.
the
No, that's-
sensor is.
Let's
Um,
say, Stacy.
Great. Okay. All right, so are we ready to move on
Yep.
to discussing the status of the screening committee?
Yeah, yes, because we can't answer number 3, so let's go on to number 4.
Perfect. Screening committee. Now that we've got the composition of the screening committee voted on, now we need to start our outreach. Essentially, the process that we have in place says that we will blanket the community with the opportunity and get letters of interest back. I have started a Google form that people can use to submit their letter of interest and also say a little bit about like what is their relationship to the Greenfield Public Schools. That way we'll know if someone's a parent or if they're like they have business interests and they're curious about business education or whatever their actual like relationship is. That will help us in screening the applicants for them. We, the three of us, will be responsible for reviewing all of those letters of interest and narrowing it down to the people that we think we want to fill in these roles. We will then put that forward as nominations to the full school committee. And at the November 12th meeting, that's when those folks will be appointed. So, does anyone have questions about how that process will go? Yeah, great.
Oh,
Oh, go ahead.
okay, so we've got to get that information out
Yes,
soon.
yes.
I saw yeah,
Yes, and we have
Saw that.
some.
good how you can go between.
Recruitment and selection, screening committee invitation. And yes, I have many documents started, so I have a whole letter of invitation about the screening committee. It says screening committee invitation text, invitation to participate. Says a little bit about what the role is, talks about the composition that we're looking for and what seats are available, talks about the selection process. I'm laying
Can you
out.
go back up just a smidge?
Yep.
About the parents.
Oh, yeah, we got to change parents to caregivers.
Yes. Where's done?
I must have missed that one when I was changing them in the other letters. Sorry about that.
You're all good. No, that's why it takes a village to do all this stuff,
So
right?
3, 6,
Um,
11.
Yes. I want to change that to 5th.
Can I ask you something because I wasn't there?
Sure.
With the caregivers. And I guess we'll make that later. Did a discussion ensue about making sure that we would have our representative from children with special needs?
We did discuss making sure that we wanted these three caregivers to be representative across the types of students that we had. And so that's gonna be one of the things that the three of us, when we're reviewing all of these letters of interest that we'll get, hopefully,
Yeah,
the very many, we'll be looking for balancing. All right, yes, there are three parents, but this parent's a parent of a child with special needs. This is a parent of a student of color. This is a parent, whose kids are on the varsity athletic team, whatever it is. It's going to be up to us to make sure that we have a fairly balanced and representative crew based on the letters of interest that we do receive.
So when we discuss those letters, that is not going to be an open to the public thing. That would be like executive session to protect the privacy of the people who submitted, right?
That is correct.
Just wanted to get that out there on the record now.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, anytime that we're discussing people or personnel, even if they're not employees, even if it's just appointments, that will be happening in executive session. Thank you.
and lastly, so to get this, I think this is great, looks perfect.
Great.
To get the letter out.
Yep.
The letter will go out, obviously, it's gonna go out in school-wide,
This is another thing that we can blanket the community with.
right?
And whether
Yeah.
you want to do it all at once, this I guess would be a conversation with Jonathan about what his
Yeah, I mean, I was
suggested
thinking-
practices are.
Okay.
If they go out all together, the focus group, the screening committee, everything all together, or if they come out separately, that's sort of your call. But it'll basically be the same channels that we use to outreach for the focus group. That
What
will
was
be
this in
outreaching
again?
for
I
this.
know I read this. What was this in again so that I find it when I have to go back and tell Jonathan?
Yes, this should
This is
be.
this is in this little folder.
I have, yes, so we have the superintendent search
Folder.
big
So
folder,
that-
and then underneath of it, I've got screening committee selection
Okay,
as
got it,
another
okay.
folder.
I'm in the folder.
Great.
So I can show him that.
Perfect. And this is the invitation to participate text. And I think that I just need to put, like we have the time commitment, and I want to lay that out like I just want to make sure that this is in here that people know you
Oh.
have to be available these days. Like it's just kind of non-negotiable. We can't like really mess with that.
We do that in the interview process at City Hall. If somebody is interviewing for whatever it is, you can't have somebody interview for one and not for others. It's not fair. It's not fair to the interviewee.
Exactly. And that's the whole reason why
I
This is
still
for the
keep going
public.
back to this, though. I am struggling with the 15th to the 18th for the final week. I think I don't care. I'm fine with it personally. I'm just gonna say it one more time. I wonder about the applicants, and I'm worried about all the people that we get for the last week. I'd love to have that be the first week of January, but I'm just gonna say that one more time. I'm worried that we'll get 11 people and then we're gonna have people on Christmas week that either we're gonna lose an applicant or we're gonna lose a couple of the 11 because something's gonna come up. And I'm just saying it one more time. With my practical hat on.
Yeah.
I know I'm like, sometimes I'm the person that you don't want to hear from, but I have to say that I'm looking at it, I'm going like, whoops, there was something else that was coming up. We have city council, isn't city council that week as well? I mean, whatever it is, I'm there. You have my word, but,
Yeah, if we do have a lot of candidates, we could end up in a sticky situation because people are committing to that week. They're not committing to Christmas week. And also, the screening committees, are they going to be hybrid or in person?
They will be hybrid, as will likely all of the first round interviews.
Okay, we should
Mhm.
probably
Yeah.
be clear that, while it's hybrid, this is the day and time that is required. If you can't
Okay.
commit to that, you can't commit to this.
Right. And, again, I know that sounds really harsh. I get it. It doesn't sound very welcoming or participatory. And it's actually, I think, easier for us if you just say, okay, these are the dates and times. That allows people to assess, can I do this or can't I do
Right,
this?
I'm good with that.
And I
Fair's
think,
fair, yep.
yeah, and I think, one of the reasons why we wanted to have at least up to the portion of doing the first round interviews and selecting the finalists prior to Christmas is one, that's kind of a weight off of those candidates. If they know that they're not being moved forward, or if they know that they are being moved forward, happy Christmas to them. They can go and have that peace of mind,
Okay.
and so can we. The other thing
True.
about the timeline is, let's say we have, our goal is to have someone hired and appointed by February, our February regular meeting.
Right,
I know that sounds aggressive, but if we think about the fact that when we hire someone, it is very likely they will already be working in a different district. They will then need to give notice, and that school committee will have 4 months to get their own process up and together.
well taken, I'm not,
Yeah. So, but
I just, I kept looking at it and I'm like, oh boy.
Mhm.
With my practical hat on, I've seen things.
Yeah.
At the end, I know what happens at work. I had a whole, and I have somebody leaving the 19th. And, I said, we have to do something for so-and-so who's, retiring.
Yep.
And, Aaron said, the 11th, I said, he's leaving the 19th. I said, and I said, that's gonna be whatever it is that we're doing for the holiday season. We should do it then, because I remember we bought food. And then I said, people weren't coming. They weren't coming to work. No, I mean, they were taking a personal day. They were certainly entitled to take that day. It just changes that last week. It was a lot different than I anticipated at City Hall. So I just wanted to say it, and now I'll be silent.
I agree. The points are well taken. Thank you for sharing.
But the other part is, that's an important thing too, that when that does happen, if they're leaving a different spot. That other, I understood.
So the to-do there is getting this invitation to participate out. And that is, again, I'm hoping we can utilize some of our same outreach channels that we were just talking about. All the municipal boards, the library, the, business associate, like all of those folks, because these are the folks that may be inclined to participate in something like this. And then really, like, once we actually do that,
There's a lull, right? Isn't
transition
there
back.
actually? Oh, I mean, I don't,
Yeah, there is actually maybe a week or two where
it's a little, I looked at this and I'm like, yeah, a little lull between now and then, and which is fine. There'll be many other things that, trust me, there will not really be a lull. Something else will rear its ugly head in the city, but
yeah, but once we get these,
yeah,
invite letters and then the actual just dates and times of things set, not changing, never gonna move. That's it. But that's what they are. Then it's just a matter of talking to everybody we can and saying, did you know? Have you heard? Can you come? Or you bring a friend? And just getting as much participation as we.
Okay, so I think that looks good.
Great.
Now, so let's go. So you're so good at that. Let me just try it. Let me see if I can pull this up.
I bet you can
find it.
I have
screening
faith in
committee,
you.
committee selection.
Faith in you. Yes, you'll want the invite to participate text. The third thing.
Okay. So we're all hoping, because we do appointments and ordinances in my, all things are, they look easier than they are. And so we do appointments and ordinances where you're trying to get all the things in, and then there's deadlines. Like I have to have it to the clerk's office, for putting somebody on the opioid abatement or the opioid committee. It has to be for the November meeting. It has to be to the clerk by this coming Tuesday, which means that I have to get somebody to just put something in email by 5 o'clock on that Tuesday. But in this particular case, because there are specific requirements for that, I also have to have the chair of the opioid committee approve that person. because there are little parameters. So it looks easy to say, I'm gonna get that one in on time to
Yeah.
Clerk Scott for the November meeting. You know, why couldn't I get this person's name in? You know, they all looked at me and I explained to them at the last meeting. This looks simple and it's 35 days. We're actually not dragging our feet here in the mayor's office. We're calling people like, could you please just write a little email? I'm interested. I just need you to say 2 sentences. Then we can get a little bit more information about you to get that in on time so that we can get, and I'm belaboring the point a little bit, but
Yeah.
because we're talking about 11 people, well, we already have 3 of us, so
Yes,
we're
but
talking
8
about 8 more. I'm not assuming that we're gonna have difficulty with the teachers.
I'm hoping not.
I don't think that we will. I'm thinking about the parents and the community members. So, okay, so 3, 6, so 5. My, again, my thing with this is we want to get good folks.
Yeah,
And we want to
totally.
get, we don't want to get 5. So we have 5, um, we have 5 slots that we have to have. I don't want to have 7 names. I guess, I bet you guys don't either. I would like to have a good, you know, selection of folks
Absolutely.
for that we have that I feel like we have a mix of people and personalities and, you know, schools of thought, you know, whatever. And so that means a few things. So we'll get the letters right out and then, asking people to do that. And what do we think is reasonable for like your numbers? What are you hoping for numbers of parents? How many do you want to get in? When do you want those numbers in? Because we have to make a recommendation. We're gonna look at them first and then make a recommendation to our members for what's the date of the meeting?
Our full committee meeting is November 12th. We will have a steering committee meeting on the 6th. And I have made application, like letters of interest to do. And again, it really is just like, give us a few sentences about why you're wanting this position and what your relationship is to the schools. That's it, and their contact information. Get us that by, November 5th. And then we'll use our 6th meeting to go through and discuss, make a recommendation, and then we'll bring that to the full committee on the 12th, who could say yes to our slate. They could ask about other candidates, and I think we should come maybe prepared with some alternates in case the people we recommend are not appointed. I would hope that the full committee would trust our judgment on the makeup of that screening committee, but in case they don't, it could happen.
Generally, that happens because it's too difficult.
Yeah,
when I appoint people, actually, you'd have to have 9 people that would say, oh, that person is, not
it for
right.
whatever reason.
There's only been one time in the history of appointments.
Fascinating.
Yeah, and that
That
was
is
somebody for Conservation Commission who, oh, you went away, and can you still hear?
Ann
Yeah, I
can
can still
hear.
hear. Yeah.
It's our,
Oh, the screen
it's
turned
our
off.
smart
Okay.
board that is
Yep,
muting
I
us. Give me a
still see
second.
and hear
Your
you.
audio comes through this screen, so we can't hear you. I'm gonna go tap on the board.
Okay.
Oh, it's amazing that she knows that. You guys are amazing. Well, Stacy's pretty smart.
Sometimes.
All
the time.
So anyways, I imagine that hopefully our group will be listening to us. It's very hard to discuss personalities in live time with microphones in front of you, so odds are that's the way that will go. But more so with the 3 of us, what are you anticipating? Do we have a number of, like, let's talk a little bit about that.
If we could even get 2 people per open seat, I'd be thrilled, honestly.
Well, based on what we have seen when people put in a letter of interest for, say, a spot that opens on school committee, I would expect more in the ballpark of 3 to 5 letters per seat.
Okay.
Yeah, I know,
But two per seat is solid though.
2% would be, that's sort of, yeah, that would be like my minimum that I'm looking
Okay,
for.
okay, good. So, right, so we're all in agreement that if we got 5 letters, that wouldn't be enough. So we'd have
No.
to have minimum,
We need to fill every seat in minimum
right? Okay,
and to feel like I'm really able to choose and put together a
and
good.
I would say on the parental side,
Mhm.
if it wasn't representative of different
Yeah,
of the sects that are within our school, that I don't know.
yeah.
Then we
at
do a
that-
reach out. Then
at
can
that
you
point-
do an ask?
At that point, yes. And so, yes, also when I'm saying outreach, I mean, we've got these like big blanket emails that we'll send. But if you have someone, don't pressure them, but just say, oh, I knew of this opportunity, thought of you.
Right.
If you're interested, here's the information. I definitely think it's within our purview. We know a lot of people in our community.
Yeah,
I
like
think
the-
we have a good sense of folks who we think would be good for the role.
Mm.
It's just a matter of whether they've got the time. So,
How much of a time commitment is this? So can we talk about that too, so that we're
Yeah.
telling people the truth?
yes, absolutely. I definitely want to make sure that I would
'Cause
even.
I
do
don't
the
even know
overestimate
that
the time.
myself. I just said I'd do this, and then I told
Yeah, so I would say that if someone is planning to submit a letter of interest, I would love to also see their face either online or at the meeting on November 12th. If they're going to want to be appointed, I would say that that's first, be present. If you can't be, I understand, but I would like to see folks at the meeting where we appoint them, if possible. That being said, the bulk of the work will be happening from December 3rd through December 18th. So yes, it is a 2-week period that will feel fairly intense. I don't know the full number of hours per person that will be put in, because it might vary by person depending on how fast you read, or what other commitments you might have going on, but there will be a bare minimum of at least, I think, at least 3 days per week where we will have 3-hour meetings per day. So we're talking like it is a pretty significant commitment during the first 2.5 weeks or so, 2 to 3 weeks of December to get trained, one, and then to actually go through the process of reviewing superintendent applicant files. We will be responsible as a group, the 11 of us, coming up with how we are judging those based on the community needs assessment information, as well as what we ourselves think and believe about what makes a good leader and their bona fides and all that. So we'll be coming up with the rubric and then having to use the rubric. We will be conducting first round interviews and then also forwarding a recommendation to the full school committee for the finalists. So I mean, it's like a big chunk of work. It will all happen. Like I promise it is going to probably be a little overwhelming for that period of time. But it is a defined period. It does have an end date. Like I said, I can't give you it's a 50-hour commitment or a 20.
No, I think it's,
It's probably closer to 50 than 20, if we're honest.
no, I
Well-
mean, if somebody asked me, I'd like to be able to say, if a community, which would be somebody that might ask me. If a community member asked me how much time of that, I would be able to say, like, it could be about this much time, in this time period, and then after that, is their job over?
After we forward our selected finalists, yes.
And how many local finalists are we hoping to have?
That depends on how many applicants we get.
And
can
the
I
amount
ask
of
another-
applicants will influence how many hours we'll spend interviewing between December 15th through 18th.
Right. Because if we think about it, like we're going to get, I'll just throw out a random number. Let's say we get 15 applicants. Of those 15, we might only want to interview 10 of them. Of those 10, we might think that 5 are really great and deserve the second round interview. So it like kind of, but if let's say we only get 7 applicants and we say, we really only want to interview 5 of them, and then we only put forward 3, finalists. It really is like volume dependent, and that will impact the amount of time. But yes, after the time that we put forward the finalists, the screening committee is done, their part is finished. They can go home and have happy Christmas knowing they job well done. And then we still get the fun part of doing more interviews and actually selecting.
Oh, yeah, so can you tell me what the time frame is after that? I know that.
Yes. Let us.
I know. Yeah.
It is in the packet, and that is okay. Happy to revisit the packet at any point in time. I think that this one's it. Yeah, there we go. Orientation has the full thing. So this is the time that the screening committee is done after the gray, and this pink. I'm in our orientation packet now, just for the record. The pink is all what comes next. We will announce the finalists right before Christmas, and then it will be after that we do the finalist interviews. So that'll be, kind of first midweek, maybe not this, I think we'll have to see when our meeting is happening. And, we'll also have to be dealing with like setting up our organizational meeting. But then I think our first regular January meeting, we'll be doing an orientation to what it looks like to do finalist interviews. We'll be probably crafting the interview questions that we plan to ask. And then the actual interviews will be happening this week of January 12th through the 15th. We did not really make a choice about whether we would go to their district to do a visit. From what I understand, that is not common practice anymore because it tends to be mostly a dog and pony show, and you're not actually seeing someone
Like what they're really doing.
like their real day to day. It's heavily scripted. So, and then we actually would do the vote to select somebody by our February 11th meeting. And I think it is also, for me, I'm glad that ideally we will have this process wrapped up before budget so we can give our full attention to the budget as we go in, as we move along.
Just worried about the bread lines. That's where I am right now.
I
I'm
would
worried about-
absolutely be worried about, yes, we're about to be up a creek without a paddle.
I'm worried about I am worrying about feeding the people in Greenfield. I'm up at night.
Yeah.
I thought, well, we'll put our shoulders to the wheel and we'll figure it out. Because they're not gonna fill the gap.
Yeah, I know. I've read many of those same news articles about the lack of action on the part of our state. And we know in Franklin County that hits hard. I mean, it just hits so hard.
My eyes have watered like 3 times today.
Yeah.
But I thought, you know what, we've got Merrill at Just Roots and we've got all the churches.
Just Roots, we've got Stone Soup, we've got all the
Every
churches.
church, and I went real good. I also, I'll wait till we're done. I want to tell you another thing, but we'll be finishing this and then I will.
Perfect. Is there any other additional information about the screening committee portion of what we need? Okay, we're good on that. I had a something in here about status of applicant outreach, just if we could get a report back from Judy, but Judy was not able to be with us during this meeting time. So we'll just postpone that till later. I was just mostly not anything about the people, but just how many people in general have even opened our position. Reviewing of the timeline and upcoming decision points. So I think you were right on it, Mayor, having us get back to this orientation packet. Over. Luckily for us, we are here. We've like checked off so many things.
Good for you.
Not just us.
Well, I mean,
us.
good. I mean, we're keeping right on. I didn't.
Yeah, we're actually.
They were part of this. I was like, is this humanly possible? But it seems like it is. So
it actually is humanly possible. I don't know if it's humanly comfortable, but it is possible.
You can do almost anything if you keep trying. Have some good folks you're working with.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't volunteer to do this to be comfortable.
That is also incredibly true.
Right.
Perfect. And yeah, so we are actually right on the timeline. Like I said, the next things that need to get done are I will let the front office know about these changes to the parents and community focus groups to make sure that those like room reservations and stuff get adjusted. I will keep on about
Room
the
reservations?
just making sure we
Oh,
have
I was
those things.
thinking, I'm thinking,
Oh,
oh, we
for
gotta
a
go.
hotel, not for
I'm like,
hotels.
we hotel, you're already thinking about that?
No, we are not not
Oh,
yet,
very
but
good. Okay.
we will think about it eventually.
All right.
Yeah, so that's getting those, getting the rooms, making sure continuing on about food and childcare and seeing what that's about. That is kind of our most pressing and upcoming, and then getting the invite text out for the screening committee. Those are the most like immediate and
Right.
pressing things that are on our agenda, but it seems like we have a plan and an understanding
Right.
of what's going to happen next. All right. That was the review of the timeline and upcoming decisions that we need to make. Going back to our agenda, are there any additional questions about that? Anything else that people would like to look at? Elsewise, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that is unanimous. Technically, I think I'm supposed to do a roll call for that.
Okay.
Great. Thanks all. I'm going to stop the recording now. Thanks to you, intrepid listeners.